was probably about, I don't know, like 70 and very not cute at all. And just like, he was an artist, so I kind of knew of him, but, yeah, it was very creepy. So I wrote this poem, I called it the Would-Be Love Poem. The Would-Be Love Poem. My would-be love has tightly coiled ambitions and reads aloud in a voice graveled by each drag of his cigarette. His smell is metallic, it glints in his skin. He is a sculptor, and so, dear reader, I could say things about his hands. I once met a sculptor whose hair was indigo black and gathered at the nape of his olive neck, and he was almond-eyed and soft-spoken. But I would have to accept these eyes, their brief and heavy lids, the barely hairs at the lashes, and his furtive glances and not so furtive glances in my direction. I imagine he sees me in a dark room of soaking photographs, us bumping up against the photographs, carelessly disturbing their development. He would not remove his shirt. His chest is old art caved in. White hairs curl there while others lie hidden in weight. My would-be love shows me his watercolors. Misshapen ovals, dense patterns of colors I won't understand. When I go wearing my black wool coat with the hood pulled over my eyes, he chuckles, well, watch out for the big bad wolf. The smoke dust in his throat, and I think, if you're the wolf, then I'm the cheese. Exactly, dear reader. My would-be love dons faded jeans from the 90s, jeans too big for his body, which is slight, and his shoulders droop rather than plume. But back to these jeans, which used to be pure black, back when he still had stuff that would work for a woman. Once, he stepped into those jeans with thighs hard as Washington apples, thighs firmer, more square and capable of keeping promises. Now the jeans are ashed over, tough as cardboard from his washing, by hand in some paint-spattered sink bowl. My would-be love has love for only two short-sleeve creations. They are cotton and loose and give the appearance of silk in their movements, kind reader. One is cerulean blue with large yellow lanterns, flames and glow leaning to the left. He came across the fabric on a trip to Africa and commissioned a shirt be made from it in Africa. And I imagine the tailor couldn't have imagined he'd wear it perhaps twice a week and wouldn't care how recognizable it was or how obvious it would be when he left a room. My would-be love doesn't wear a watch or keep time on his wrist because then time would be a severed shackle on his body and this wouldn't do, reader. Perhaps he is what was once a fire, though it could not have been very high, or maybe there were only glowing embers just here and there among the ash, but it had to be mainly ash. All right, this next poem is called The Poem from the End of the Earth. Another prose poem. The Poem from the End of the Earth. The poem I find at the end of the earth looks like death on a motorcycle. It's got bad breath and no style, and it needs a ride. I'm driving my best car, my 98 convertible white Mustang, and there is room since I've come alone. I mean, who wants to ride just to be riding when you gotta pass through the end of the earth? Against my betters, I flip the lockup on the passenger door. As the poem gets settled, a cloud of dusty funk fills my nostrils, but I'm hearing things I've learned in church lately and decide to be a good neighbor. I consider the idea that the poem is human too, so I look the poem square in the mouth and ask where it's from. Hair, the poem says, picking the bigger pieces of lint out of its hair. I begin to wonder if the poem is telling the truth about all this. When it said here, it kind of sounded like hair. And that couldn't be the accent at the end of the earth. Fidgeting and bored beside me, the poem begins cleaning out its pockets. There are keys, a wristwatch with a smashed face, matches, a black pocket comb, licorice, and a pistol. The poem sets the gun on its lap, sideways like a gangster, pointed straight in my direction, its middle finger against the trigger. I act like I don't notice. In my periphery, I see the poem considering me in a patient, yet irritated kind of way. My belly folds up like a roly-poly, but I keep on the gas. I figure, the farther we get away from the end of the earth, the better. Like every murder victim I've seen on TV, like I have a chance, like I have something else to offer other than everything, I stupidly ask the poem what it wants. A tall drink of water, it laughs, smirking and picking at something caught in its teeth. So I have two more. This one's called In the Under. In the Under. Our river is aqua, a sea foam green, like the sleeping fish we find. Our river is clear green, and at night, cool nickels float to the surface, flickering their wishes. This makes me want to be a seal, a silver seal, slippy as a soaked knife. A white line of lights reflect white eyes in the water. I know I could be a fish. I could swim you below, give you a new skin of scales. Though I've run all out, I wish I could give you a silver back of fish scales so we could dazzle. See us growing gills and reaching no shores. At the bottom of our river, we eat bread from undeaf ducks. We'd laugh at people up there, eating in the air. This is my last poem. I wanted to try to use my guitar as a prop and aid to this poem. Housed 3 women, accommodated 3 sets of teeth, 6 eyes, and 3 belly buttons. It allowed iron bones and spines to raise their way into existence. This morning, my right breast stretched from my robe, touched my infant's mouth, bobbed like branches over water until her sharp fish mouth closed onto it. Her lips as imperceptible as a cat's, her lips as thin. I am grateful to this constellation for healing itself again, for sealing off blood, its vessels, for scarring to create a second line of stars to run my right fingers over, making them glow with heat as they travel across. Thank you.